Welcome to Shoots and Ladders, episode 2, where we will be recapping Clash of the Castles.
Clash at the Castle was in Glasgow, Scotland. I know we have a couple of stars that are from Scotland, so that was really exciting to see them there. And the crowd was popping, as usual.
The crowd was hot, and that always makes for a great show.
What did you think overall?
Overall, to be honest, I actually loved it.
I really surprisingly really liked it. It kept my attention, and overall, very pleased.
All right, so let's start off with the first match, the I Quit match. This was interesting. Obviously, Cody Rhodes is the A champion, but being the fact that it was in Glasgow, which you definitely kind of alluded to before, makes sense that Drew would close.
I liked it. I like that they started out with Cody and AJ. And like you said, I do agree with if there are two main events, basically, I think you should start strong and end strong. So I'll let you go first. I'll let you say what you want to say.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Overall match was fine. The ending made no sense. If he picks up the staircase and he's about to beat him into submission, AJ throws his hands up and says, I quit. One, I mean, I understand he's a heel and it's okay to make heels look weak, but AJ's never been that way throughout his career. So that didn't make sense. He has a staircase and he says, he's about to bash him in before he says, I quit. If you're going to do that, have him turn around, celebrate, and then AJ and his goons beat him down. The next SmackDown, the Friday after, all you have to do is say, hey, look, you're a dummy. I used my head. I knew that if I said I quit, I'd have a free open shot at you. I may have lost the battle, but I didn't lose the war. And what makes it worse was there was no continuation of that storyline whatsoever.
You are right. If this was going to just be a soft ending to the feud to build up to something else, then that should have been addressed on the next episode, which it wasn't. And so now it looks like there's more. Cody is now focusing more on the bloodline feud and teaming up with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton.
Exactly. There was no closure whatsoever. Now they moved down a different storyline. It made no sense.
It would have been even better if they held off on this when AJ has, kind of mentioned that he is getting closer to retirement. Why don't they do like a full-on big old match of I actually quit if I lose to you, Cody? So let's do a big old brawl and I quit and a huge ending.
Well said. 100%. If that was going to be his farewell, be an actual farewell.
Maybe they have something else up their sleeve for, a couple of months down the line, maybe SummerSlams, maybe, I don't know, but I don't see anything interesting coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would have given that match probably like an A-, maybe B+, but because of the ending, I'll drop it down to B-, honestly.
Yeah, I do like a B.
Next match, the women's tag team titles. What did you think about this one? I was very surprised. I actually really enjoyed it.
I really liked all three teams. So I think they all have their strengths and charisma. And we initially assumed that Bianca and Jade were going to keep the titles just because of, they're a powerhouse right now.
I've always been a big fan of hometown heroes winning, which we'll get to later. I would have bet I would have bet the house that Bianca and Jade would have retained the titles.
Oh,
yeah. I know that they're going to eventually feud, but I just thought that would have been a little delayed. So I love the ending. Hats off to them. That ending was written perfectly.
Mm-hmm. I really loved it. They had some great teamwork and it wasn't Jade or Bianca that was pinned. It was Isla who pinned Glazer. So I was like, get it, girl. So hey, I loved it. I thought they did great. And like you said, we assumed it was going to be Bianca and Jade pushing through the summer, and it caught me off guard. And I was totally okay with them winning. So Great job.
Yeah, great job. Great overall match. A lot of good spots. I'm going to give that match an A.
Yeah, I liked it. A.
All right, let's go to the IC match. What were your thoughts on that?
A little underwhelmed, to say. We all were rooting for Sammy anyway, and we already kind of knew the turnout just because I always laugh because they always introduce Chad as someone who has never won a single championship. And I'm like, and as soon as one of the announcers said that, I was like, and he's still not. So,
Yeah, absolutely. You called it. Yeah, for sure. 100%.
but it was okay. It was fine. What did you think?
There's always a theme of just having rematches for every PLE.
Well, then they should have just made it 4 matches then.
When you have this much programming, you have to fill it, right? Because again, people are paying tickets, so they want a full show. If you want people to subscribe, the viewers want to watch a full show. But when that happens, you basically repeat matches.
It's a damned if you do and a damned if you don't
Exactly.
type of thing. So
Exactly.
I appreciate it. They're trying, they're working their talent, they're trying to push storylines. I get it. This one just, I felt it fell a little flat.
I'm gonna go ahead and give this a C.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I watched it, but I wouldn't say I would watch it again.
Exactly. It was a C. Now for the women's title. I know you have an interesting take on this. I love to hear what you have to say first.
Where's Bailey? Where's Bailey been? Oh,
yes.
Bailey, I know she's a strong competitor, and with Piper, I was rooting for Piper.
Yeah.
I felt like she was being pushed properly. I really like her and what she's been bringing as a character, and she's got a lot of power behind her. So I thought of not only the evolution of her character, but also her size compared to Bailey. I'm like, take it home, girl. You get it. So
for someone, especially to win a title at Mania, to continue to have it still, you would think that they're giving him that push. But yeah, you're right. I mean, she's not really there.
Is this a personal thing that they're doing, or is this building up to her exploding later on at, towards the end of the year?
Yeah.
But I would like to see more. I'm like, if she's going to hold a strap, she needs to really show why she owns a strap.
That's legit what I have in mind too. Overall match, I mean, it was actually a pretty good match, back and forth. I would probably give this match a B. What would you think?
I would give it a B. I thought they were both great. I felt like Bailey did she worked smarter, not harder. I wished it was Piper.
Yeah. So final match, the World Heavyweight title match, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, hometown hero. What were your thoughts?
I mean, it kept my attention. I thought it was a great match. I was rooting for Drew the entire time because I'm like, it's his time. Finally give him the belt. And then I'm like, okay, he's in his home country. He's going to do it. They're going to let him win in Scotland.
Yes.
And
I know.
Just that ending, it was so good because you know why? I completely forgot about Punk, and he came out of nowhere.
Me too. And hats off to that production team.
So good.
The angle was absolutely perfect. So I would give this match a 99. Like going back to the Madden days, or even like WWE 2Ks, when like how would you rate someone? I would give this match a 99 because it kept my attention too. I thought it was great. Crowd was so hot, especially for the hometown guy. I didn't like the ending. I got to be honest with you. Because look, here's the thing. If Drew McIntyre he just signed the contract, you just pushed him. Like we kind of talked about this before. I mean, I don't think Damian's the guy to have the title.
No, not at all.
It was in his hometown. They gave him basically a WrestleMania entrance.
Yeah.
And, he should have won the title. I mean, I understand the ending too, because that was brilliant. But I still think you could have had that ending, where he screws him over, Punk leaves, the real ref wakes up, and Drew still wins anyway.
I feel the same way. I don't think Damian is, not that he's not a good champion, but I just don't, with our current roster right now, I don't think it suits him properly. I just feel like you got to have that special something, and I feel like Drew has it, and he is dying for it. Yeah. And he's worked so hard for it, where I'm like, it's really his time to have this. And I hate that he keeps getting screwed over with getting it. And I'm like, are we going to have like another story like Cody, where we're like, let him finish his story, like let him do this kind of thing? But I like the addition that they're adding with with Punk and him just up and just showing up out of nowhere and surprising him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I did like that element because I'm not a Punk fan, but he makes good TV and
He's
he
great on
really
the
does.
mic.
That's what kills me. I'm like, God, you're so annoying, but you're so good.
Yeah.
And it works. So yeah, the ending did surprise me. I was disappointed, but I wasn't upset that it ended that way because I'm like, okay, it's just going to build him even more and give Drew even more of that fire to
Yeah.
fight more and give him an even better match at the next main event to get this title. What did you think about the transition to Raw when Drew had
Horrible. No, seriously, horrible. I'm glad you brought this up. That's what really didn't make any sense. Talking about like, okay, going back to what we just said about between, Cody and AJ and like, hey, how are you going to extend the storyline? If you're going to do that finish, have him quit the next day, even though everyone knows that he just resigned. So first off, that didn't make sense. Like the internet world knew he resigned. So what's he quitting for? Unless he's gonna jump shows, maybe. But no, again, none of that made sense. And then to have him come back on SmackDown like a couple days later, like none of that. If you're gonna have him quit, take him off. Yeah, if Punk's cleared to wrestle, okay. So Drew could have came out on the microphone and said something effective. Punk, I have something for you. Punk would have had an impromptu world title match in his hometown, Chicago. Crowd would have been hot. And Drew could have screwed him over. And he could have and then he could have had a promo saying, hey, look, you want to mess with me in my hometown? I can do the same thing. And that could have set up the storyline. That could have been brilliant.
I was just confused because he was like, I quit. And then 4 days later, he comes back on and you were right. We're like, this is too soon.
Yeah.
Way too soon. And I'm like, give us a little bit of mystery with him. And it's like what they do with Punk. I love how they do the timing of Punk. Like he shows up for a show, says something smart, and disappears for a few weeks, and you completely forget. And then he pops up out of nowhere, and it hits every time. They need to do that with Drew. And I don't know. I'm like, yeah, we already knew that you resigned. It's not like
yes. Yeah, you can't keep a secret like that these days. You really can't. So
it would have worked 30 years ago when there was no social media. But
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm with you. It made no sense. That's again, you have two storylines that just really made no sense, and they both involve the world champions.
Like I've noticed a trend with how they're booking storylines for champions for the past year. It's like they swap. They can't, everything changes very quickly and they feed off of what the fans are thinking. So
no, you're right. And that could be a theme going forward, especially with especially now with Triple H at the helm. Again, but you know what though, I would have given that match a 99. Going back to like the actual grade of the match, I would have given it 99. I'd probably give it like a 94, 95. I would say that in I'm still gonna give it an A. I mean, I thought the ending was really cool. Yeah. So overall, I'm gonna give this an A-.
I will give it a B.
B?
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's fair. Fair enough.
Reason why it wasn't terrible. I ended up watching it twice just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And at the second time I watched it, I was like, this was good. Like I said, the timing, the amount of matches, and the quality of the actual match card, good. So yeah.
All right. Well, listen, that wraps up episode number 2. Please like, share, and subscribe on both Spotify and YouTube. Those links will be posted on social media shortly. For our next episode, we'll actually be interviewing Nick Batey, who is in charge of putting together the River City wrestling convention. So, which was part of our episode 1. So that's going to be, he's super knowledgeable, very smart person. He's only 25 and he was able to do all this. It's going to be a very interesting episode. You're going to gather a lot of information on how this whole thing kind of started.
Yep. I'm excited.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much to all of our listeners. We will talk to you soon.
Bye, friends.